Hey guys, it's Online from OnlineGamersHD and welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be showing, basically, discussing my thoughts on the Uncharted 4 gameplay we got yesterday. First of all, it was very amazing that Naughty Dog decided to show us 15 minutes of the gameplay. This happened at the PlayStation Experience event, which took part yesterday. I watched it live on Twitch. But, yep, I'm going to basically just discuss my thoughts on what happened during the trailer, and yep, so stay along. So we found Drake, and he's like on the edge of the island. You could see like the water physics in Uncharted 4, which looks amazing, by the way. And you see how old Nathan Drake's is, and you can see kind of the environment, and you could definitely tell by his voice that he has aged, and he's a little bit more serious than playful. If you could say, like, he used to be like, his witty remarks, but he seems a lot more serious in this game. So he heads down into a tunnel, gets like through some normal Uncharted stuff when you're in like the wilderness, go through caves, go underwater, or almost underwater, kind of like when Tomb Raider did, where Lara Croft was like in the water with like a torch, where her head was the only thing above with her hands. It's kind of like that kind of deal. It was funny at like one part he was like falling off, like kind of like sliding down one of like these like ruins, and then he jumps onto a thing, and he did do a witty remark, but it's kind of like, it's funny how that's how Nathan Drake always does when he's about to die. He always makes those kind of like funny marks where he's like, oh crap, and then yeah. So what the really interesting part was, once he got outside in the wilderness, you could see he like took off like a note from like someone he's following, like I guess like a dead skeleton or a dead person who's now a skeleton. And he takes the note and he puts it in his journal. And a lot of people didn't catch this, but I'll put it on the screen right now. In his notebook, it did say call Elena in like the top right corner. So it is fact that, they are still together. And he's probably going to call her like once, he's out here. But yep, that does imply that they are still together. If you fast forward a little bit long, you could see that when he's climbing, it's a lot more, like slower paced, as you've been able to see by now. He's just like a little bit older than he has been. And one really cool thing, I feel like they're mashing up the good parts about Tomb Raider and the good things about Uncharted and mashing it up together, as well as The Last of Us, and it's just making like a really good, blend of the three games together. Which was really cool was he couldn't get up this like rugged space, there's nowhere to put his hands. So what he does is he gets to the soldier that's like hanging, he takes off like the knife of his hand, lets the body fall, and he kind of uses it like Tomb Raider did with Lara Croft did with the axe. He started like scaling the wall with the knife, like, and then like every single like place he put the knife, then he would have one hand to reach the ledge, and then kind of just made his body up the ledge, which I thought was really unique. And then once he jumped off, like as you can see, he jumped up the ledge, he like slided down with the knife. That was pretty sick. I thought that it's gonna be a lot more different, and I feel like they're gonna add a lot more new stuff with how climbing works and how he's gonna be slower, so he's gonna have to use his environment around him, which is definitely better instead of being like superhuman. In the multiplayer, you're just like, especially if you're like Monkey Man, you're just like a boss, like you just don't even think about what you're doing, you just climb. So I feel like there's gonna be a lot more thought to climbing instead of just climbing wherever you see. I feel like it'll be a little bit more natural and a little bit more like fun, I guess you could say, instead of just jumping up. Like there's maybe some puzzles of how to climb up a certain part, like there was there. The second part is when he first gets encountered to these guys. They seem kind of Australian. That's what I determined or like depicted out of that. They definitely feel like they're more Australian on the side. As he's like climbing up, you could definitely see the different layouts of the map or the level design. Actually, whoever did that. Actually, I think I know the person on Twitter, so props to her. Maybe I'll for the tweet on there, but very well designed layout or layer level. Basically like there's multiple layers, different opportunities of how you could do it. As you could see, like later in the combat, when he like swings against the rope and then jumps on a guy, I could tell you it's a lot more vertical than where in Uncharted usually you're just like all in one battlefield. Definitely looks awesome. It definitely seems like there's gonna be a lot more opportunities that they're taking from The Last of Us, of going like up or down, like a different amount of like where you could do. And definitely something I really liked is how they still have the Uncharted feel, but definitely they took some stuff from The Last of Us. As you could tell in the beginning, when Nathan Drake had to press triangle, usually you do that on Uncharted anyway, but it feels a lot more like The Last of Us did with looking at something. And I feel like once you talk to somebody like Sully or Elena later on in the game, or beginning, depending where we are in this point, that you're gonna have to press triangle in order to talk to them, like they did in The Last of Us. But another thing I really like that they took from The Last of Us is when Nathan Drake's fighting, he's not like a Superman, so like, the people actually fight back like they normally would, just like they did in The Last of Us. So, Nathan Drake struggles, obviously still what beats the fight, but it makes it more of like a struggle because at that point when you're fighting someone, people could be shooting you. So it leads to more difficulty, I think, if they decide to make people shoot at them when you're in combat. But it's just going to make it a lot more natural instead of just beating him up in like 3 hits, like you're actually struggling with this guy, kind of like in The Last of Us. And I really liked when they did that rope thing where he like climbed on the rope like with his whip. I think it was a whip, yeah. And then he like launched on a guy. That was just awesome. And then he took his rifle and just started shooting the guys up there. It just feels a lot more natural, and it just feels a lot more, more badass, you could say, or more epic. It definitely seems awesome. You could definitely avoid battles, as we've seen in there. He didn't finish them all off, but he could still avoid. It seems like that whip's going to help him a lot because he was like using it as a rope. So instead of ropes, you're going to have a whip, it seems like, when you're solo. One thing I'm definitely hoping that later on in the game, how you have to do this like 100 times to let Elena or Chloe up. Like if you're with someone, like I bet you're going to have to do that a lot with your brother. Unless Naughty Dog decides to use some new things with that whip or something to like help, get up a platform instead of just boosting someone up. Hopefully they change it up a little bit and you could actually do, like multiple ways to get up. Or at least make it different than with the past 3. Because, we're all tired of, like, here, let me get you up. And then you let them jump on your hands and lift them up. So hopefully they find new ways to, like, do that sort of thing when you're out of reach. Kind of like what they did with the whip. I liked how they did that in Uncharted 2. Where, you had to cross that bridge full of water. Or that, like, pathway full of water. And you had to shoot the propane tank. It's kind of like that. That would be pretty sick. They did something along those lines. But definitely the most interesting part was that near the end of the clip, of the 15-minute clip, you could see him like after he climbs up like one of the mini set pieces. By the way, the reason they're not doing set pieces, guys, is because Naughty Dog said many times they've spoiled the game when they show off how much they could do with the set pieces. As you've seen, even if they don't show the whole set piece, you kind of know which one of them is. Right now, even after that 15-minute gameplay demo, we don't even know which one of them might be, unless they count that rock thing. But I feel like their set pieces are going to be a lot more epic than that. We don't know what they're going to be. I'm sure it can involve Nathan Drake's like landing on the shore, like if we saw in that trailer at E3. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see the multiple set pieces they have in this game. It's going to be awesome, and we don't know anything about them, and I hope we don't know anything about them, or at least not all of them, by the time the game launches. I was really surprised we didn't get a trailer, but I'm going to stay with the gameplay. I'll talk more about that later. But then again, it's going to lead us, like, urging for more, which is Naughty Dog is really good at doing. But so as we see him climbing up the rocks and almost dies, climbing up the rocks, and then he jumps on the ledge, as Nathan Drake always cheats to death. You see this new guy, and you're like, who the heck is him? They both range their guns at each other, but then they realize it's each other. And we find out that Nathan Drake has an older brother, because the guy says, thank God you're alive, or something like that, little bro. So, yep, it just signifies that, Drake has an older brother that he never told us about. And Nathan Drake is a really shady person. It's not even his real name. But the most interesting part, one of the most interesting parts is as it goes up into the scenery, we can see the villages ahead and where they might be going. It reminds me kind of like the Nepal area in Uncharted 2. Kind of like the villages in that, but in the island, maybe. We still don't know who the main villain will be unless it's his brother, which I actually think it's going to be his brother. You left me for 15 years rotting. That definitely sounds like his brother, might be with him, and then, Nathan Drake has to force to leave him or something if they get, arrested. So I definitely think that the main villain will be Nathan Drake's brother. I think they'll go that route. I don't see the main brother being like a side pal like Sully is. I want Sully to be the main pal. No one can replace Sully and Elena as the 3 squad, the 3-person squad. I definitely still think we're going to see Chloe, and I think Cutter too. If we don't see Cutter, I definitely think Chloe will mention him in a cutscene. But I definitely think Chloe will be back because she's one of the fan favorites. I definitely, if this is the final installment, which I hope not, because when I'm seeing this gameplay, it reminds me I don't want this to be the last one. But I definitely think that Chloe will be in this game because she is a fan favorite, and I'm pretty sure that Cutter might be there as well, but if not mentioned at least. That's just kind of my thoughts. I could see Cutter still being in it. Why not? It's the 5 squad. But yep, pretty much that was my thoughts on the gameplay. They added a bunch of new stuff. As you can see, he like picked up a weapon. The new gun layout, it's kind of different, which I kind of like. I like differency. The way he like also like hides in the bushes, kind of like Assassin's Creed. It's gonna be awesome, guys. You're gonna have like a bunch of new elements, and I'm sure that's just one level design. Imagine the other level designs we're gonna see and what he could do with the interactions of that environment. It's gonna be awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and then once we get some multiplayer reveal, that will be awesome as well. I was hoping for an Uncharted trilogy, but that got shut down. I don't know why Naughty Dog wouldn't be working on that. It's like, come on. You know, all the Xbox people coming on, they need Uncharted in order to know what Uncharted 4 is. You know, even if it is a standalone adventure, it still would be a reasonable decision to put Uncharted trilogy on the PS4. Plus, a lot of fans who's like fans of Uncharted 2's multiplayer and stuff. Like, that's the main reason I want to play Uncharted. I want the Uncharted trilogy. I want to play Uncharted 2's multiplayer and single player again. Like, Uncharted 3, I still play a lot, and I guess I could still do that with Uncharted, 2, but I really want to play Uncharted 2 again on the PS4, and vice versa with the other games, but just, like, mainly Uncharted 2. I really want that. I know it was, like, leaked or something, like, when that picture came out. That gave me a little hope for maybe PlayStation experience, but looks like we're going to have to still wait for that. But other than that, guys, that was my thoughts on Uncharted 4 multiplayer. I mean, not multiplayer. I'm getting myself, it's early in the morning. Gameplay reveal, 15 minutes. Thank you, Naughty Dog. That was a great look at what's going to be coming next year. 15 minutes, wow. I was just 4 minutes in. I was like, I don't want this to end, and it didn't end for another 10 minutes, which was awesome. I definitely didn't see 15 minutes of gameplay, but that definitely started the keynote on a high note, and I felt like that was the best thing out of it. I have that Nathan Drake photo on my desktop. But, yep. Anyway, guys, I have been OnlineGamersHD. I'll see you in the next video, which might be an Uncharted 4 video or might not be. Anyway, see you guys. Bye.